the 2018 Outstanding Virginians. Amy Adams is a mother, organizer, and advocate working at the grassroots level to improve the lives of LGBTQ students. Her journey to activism began with her daughter, Morgan, who at age 10 told her parents that she was transgender.
We always knew that she would be something amazing. We didn't know what direction that was going, but when she came to us and told us that she was transgender, there wasn't a lot of surprise, but there was a lot of pride. She advocated for herself, she stood up for herself and said what she needed, and it actually wasn't very much. She just wanted to be treated like her peers.
Initially, Morgan thrived at school with the support of the administration and many of her classmates. However, upon hearing about Morgan, a group of parents started organizing opposition in secret.
Standing in front of a school board meeting full of people that your child has grown up with, parents of other kids, of children that they've grown up with, and hearing them say things like your child is a predator, it was just absolutely devastating.
This setback gave Amy's activism the opportunity to bloom. She began cultivating relationships with school board representatives, area advocacy groups, and other parents of transgender kids.
I started Equality Stafford, and the work that we do is to help other students, other LGBTQ students in the Stafford area, advocate for GSAs in their schools or stronger anti-discrimination policies.
Today, Morgan is in 7th grade and inspires her peers to speak out against prejudice and discrimination.
There is no me in this without her. I'm not an outstanding Virginian if I don't have Morgan. At 13 years old, at 10 years old, she wasn't afraid to walk into her school and say, "This is who I am." How can I be afraid of anything?
Michael Berlucci grew up in Virginia Beach, but never felt fully welcomed in the area, despite a loving and supportive family. He quickly moved away for college and then out of state. He returned to the area as an adult to find not much had changed, with almost no openly LGBTQ people in positions of influence. In search of a community, he began volunteering with Hampton Roads Pride.
When I was growing up in Virginia Beach, I didn't feel a sense that I could be successful in my hometown or fulfill my potential. Hampton Roads Pride exists to unite the LGBT community as well as to serve the community at large in a significant way. And that was really part of my point of entry to advocacy.
Michael, along with friends, saw opportunities to strengthen Hampton Roads Pride and raise its profile. In 2012, Michael organized the first Pride Block Party. The successful gathering turned into an annual event that is now the centerpiece of Pride Weekend. He later joined the organization's board, serving 2 terms as president. During his tenure, he oversaw increased visibility in the community by fostering relationships with local leaders and police departments.
In the wake of the shooting tragedy at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, we understood immediately the value of the liaison officer. And having recognized the importance of this mutual trust and understanding, we began to advocate for the appointment of liaison officers in police agencies throughout Hampton Roads.
Michael's advocacy work is far from over, and being named an Outstanding Virginian only ignites his passion for the community he serves.
If the environment that exists in 2018 were in place when I was growing up, I don't think I would have considered leaving my hometown. I'm very proud of the progress that we've made. I also know that we stand on the successes of generations who came before us.
Reverend Emma Chattin's life and work exist at the intersection of faith and the transgender community. She serves as pastor of the Metropolitan Community Church of Northern Virginia. Reverend Chattin was ordained by the MCC Church in 2004.
I had always wanted to be a minister, always experienced the calling, just never had the vehicle to do that. And we are the GLBTIQ communities. We welcome all individuals, but we tend to look at the Bible and approach religion with a queer eye. If you knock, the door will be open for you. And there are ways through in Christian denominations, in Judaism, and in Islam. There are ways through for all individuals. My God is totally genderqueer. My God is gender non-binary. My God is totally trans. If you have a child and they can't hear the word transgender spoken from the pulpit, there's a problem.
Emma's work doesn't stop there. She's also the executive director of the Transgender Education Association of Greater Washington, D.C., supporting individuals in transition and the communities into which they're transitioning.
We've gone to the DC court system. We've gone to other employers here in this area to work with individuals who are transitioning on the job, not just to work with the individual, but the workplace that they're transitioning into to help make that both a productive and a safe environment. Parts, paperwork, and presentation, no indication of a person's pronoun preference. And that's something that I wish to spread far and wide, and that I'm doing with area hospitals and anyone who will have me there to speak.
For Emma, being named an Outstanding Virginian is part of a broader calling.
This is something I receive on behalf of all the individuals and all the communities in which I work.
Lisa Cumbey's work with the community spans back to the 1980s, when she began donating marketing and design services. Her expertise was instrumental in rebranding the Gay Richmond Community Center as Diversity Richmond.
I didn't know how much was done here with volunteers, and it was staggering to me. And so I wound up donating a great deal of our time for that project. How can you not? I started back in the 80s. I started my own company, in large part because I found out that people could fire you, companies could fire you just for being gay.
It's estimated that through Lisa's contributions of time and talent, she has donated over $1 million in pro bono services to the nonprofit community. Through her early marketing and design work at the grassroots level, she came to understand the courage it took for people working on LGBT causes.
Everybody was afraid to sell ads because you had to walk into places and, say that you're, working with this gay organization. And so since I had my own business, I just kind of took on that role.
When the AIDS crisis was devastating the community, Lisa also experienced a personal loss when her beloved brother Alan fell ill. She became his caretaker and turned her creative energies towards solutions, launching a political action committee devoted to AIDS legislation and participating in early fundraisers. In 1992, Alan died at the age of 35, cutting short a promising career as an artist and writer. Years later, Lisa arranged for an exhibition of Alan's art at Diversity Richmond's Iridian Gallery, a space for which she created the name and identity.
At the 25th anniversary of his death, we had a large show of his work here as a fundraiser for Iridian Gallery. It's not only my brother's legacy, but it sort of represents to me the legacies of a lot of those people that were lost back then.
Reflecting on the work she began in her youth, Lisa is energized by the passion and resilience of today's young people.
Props to all the young people who are still doing all this work today. I wish we didn't have this work to do, but we do.
Richmond native Zakia McKensey has spent her career touching lives through disease prevention efforts and promoting transgender equality, and her work is inspired by the change she's seen over time.
25 years ago, there weren't any really LGBTQ or trans activists that you really saw.
Driven by the loss of a friend to AIDS, Zakia used her status as a well-known club performer with over 180 titles to her name as a road to advocacy. She sought ways to fill the gaps in HIV education and prevention in her community. And in 2012, she started an annual pageant at Diversity Richmond as a way to deliver vital information and services.
And having a platform that I had as an entertainer, it was important for me, one, to get more education and understand the virus, and then two, to talk to my community about it. With the African American community, HIV is extremely taboo, and those conversations aren't happening.
While her volunteer outreach grew, Zakia also served others through her work with Health Brigade and the Virginia Department of Health, where she was on the front lines of HIV and AIDS prevention and addressing the unique healthcare needs of trans individuals. In 2015, she officially launched Nations Foundation and opened a dedicated facility with money saved from her pageant winnings. Nations offers free HIV testing, a food pantry, emergency housing, transportation to medical services, support groups for trans women, particularly women of color, and a text line service that brings HIV testing to people wherever they are.
Last year, we provided 861 HIV tests, 220 units of food to households. We've identified 5 new positives this year. So making a difference and helping a lot of people.
Jim O'Connor is at once a world traveler and a fixture of Prince William County, where he's lived since 1971. By his teens, he lived in Japan, Germany, and the U.S. A Vietnam War veteran, he went on to a distinguished career that included leadership roles at the Food and Drug Administration, the American Chemistry Council, and the World Trade Organization.
All of the advocacy that I did, both domestically and internationally, for a 30-year period, helped as far as addressing LGBT issues late in life, as I have done.
Jim's wife passed away in 2005, and as he puts it, he didn't leap out of the closet, but rather drifted out. A year later, the Commonwealth of Virginia banned same-sex marriage, and Jim jumped into action. He helped to launch Equality Prince William to strengthen LGBT voices in the county.
We worked very hard with a number of people to make sure that the Prince William County school system adopted or changed its non-discrimination policy to include sexual orientation and gender identity. We are continuing to work on the 8 members of the County Board of Supervisors and declare June to be Pride Month, and then we can work toward getting their non-discrimination policies changed.
For Jim, advocacy work is about building relationships.
Just be yourself. Get to know people in the community. The fact that you may be gay shouldn't be an issue. You're just another constituent or another neighbor. When you travel around the world, you see how much all of us are really the same.
The Mid-Atlantic region's only professional theater company that expressly serves the LGBTQ community, Richmond Triangle Players has made an ongoing commitment to gay and transgender artists, issues, and audiences since 1993.
At the time, RTP was really about gay folks telling gay stories to other gay folks. Audiences could come and feel like you could come with your boyfriend or you could come with your girlfriend and you could be together. You could have an evening as a date and watch a piece of theater that was about folks like you.
As the LGBTQ community has evolved, so has Richmond Triangle Players. Today, at its new home, they offer over 160 events each year to nearly 10,000 patrons, showcasing a diverse and inclusive array of productions.
Certainly our mission now is about being one of those voices that leads conversation about diversity and inclusion and why it matters. The way we do it is by telling stories that are relevant to the LGBTQ experience.
RTP consistently explores tough issues involving our community and the challenges and triumphs we experience. Their success has opened doors and opened minds the old-fashioned way, through laughter, tears, and telling the truth.
But we have a responsibility now, I think, to talk about why diversity and inclusion makes it a better, stronger place. If we can keep opening up those hearts and minds, then we've done what we need to do.
The 2018 Outstanding Virginians.
My name is Amy Adams.
I'm Michael Berlucci.
My name is Reverend Emma Chattin.
I'm Lisa Cumbey.
My name is Zakia McKensey.
I'm Jim O'Connor.
Richmond Triangle Players.